Would you like to learn how to shoot trailing lights with a basic DSLR like this one right here? Then stay tuned. This video is for you. As the sun started to set tonight, I thought, you know what, this might be a great time to grab my equipment and go take a shot of some trailing lights. Now, I haven't done this in a long time, but I've always enjoyed shots like this. I enjoy seeing lights coming in and out of the frame and capturing some of the landscape there. And I thought, you know what, let me bring you along for the ride. What do I have with me? I have the trusty, the old, the reliable Nikon D3400, along with the 18-55 kit lens here. Now, if you followed me or seen any of my older videos, you'll know that this is a staple in a lot of my photography. I've had my hands on all kinds of cameras and lenses, the crop sensors, the full sensors, the different manufacturers between the Sony, the Panasonic, Canon, Nikon, obviously, and they're all great cameras. Now, I always say, it's not about the equipment. It's about the photographer's ability to use whatever equipment they have to capture that shot. Now, all of these cameras have the ability to manipulate a lot of the settings in the camera itself. This is where you get out of that fully auto mode and you get into either manual mode or aperture priority or shutter priority. Tonight, we're going to shoot in manual mode. And I'm going to show you the settings when we get out there of what I'm going to leverage to capture the shot that I will hopefully capture. Now, I anticipate it's going to be a little loud because I'm going to try to find a bridge that's going over a relatively busy road, and obviously it's going to be dark. So it might be a little difficult to see the back of this camera when we're getting ready to take the shot, but I'll do my best to walk us through it, and you'll be able to see what I'm doing. And in the event we can't see it or you're not able to hear me that well, keep an eye on the upper left-hand corner because I'll put the metadata of what was used to set the camera to capture that particular shot. So with all that said, I hope you're having a great day. I want you to take a step back, relax, come along with me. Let's step outside and let's go have some fun making this shot. Here we are at the first stop. It is a bridge that goes over a relatively busy roadway here. Now, it's starting to get late. You can see that the sun is almost all the way down. But you can see what we're going after, and that's these vehicles going away and coming at us. And I'm going to move over and I'm going to show you the back of the camera. It might be difficult to see it, but I am going to let you know the specific settings, and we're going to step right through it. We're looking at the back of the camera, and let's go ahead and jump right into it with the settings and how this is going to work. Now, to begin with, I'm in manual mode. And on this camera right here, I know it's going to be difficult to see because we don't have a lot of light, but that's what the M stands for on the Nikon when you're looking at the display on the back. And this dial right here, right above my thumb, is the shutter speed. And I'm set to 13 seconds. In the middle is my aperture set to f11. And then on the right-hand side is the ISO, and that is set to 100. Now, ISO is not automatic. I set that to manual as well. And when you're doing a shot like this and you're on a tripod is a must-have. This camera's sitting on a tripod, but set this to 100 because this is going to give us the best image we can possibly get from this sensor. It's going to introduce the least amount of noise, and that's what you want. The other notable here is that I am set to manual focus, and you want to set that to focus on infinity. Now, if you're not quite sure how to make that happen with your lens, you can go with autofocus, but you want to focus on the horizon, and you want to remove the autofocus from engaging when you press the shutter. Now, you can do that in the menu of this camera, and most cameras, most DSLRs, you can do the same. Now, if you follow me for a while, you'll know that I use back button focus. I love back button focus, and that is where I use my thumb up here. I have a button right up here that I press to obtain focus, and what that means is I can lock focus that way and it won't engage again. So I'll put a link in the description below if you're interested in back button focus. If you haven't seen my previous video, that might help you out. The other thing to know is that if you have a remote shutter release, this is the time to use it. Now, I have two of them and I brought them both out here, but the battery was dead in both, and that's okay. You know, when you take a long shutter like this at 13 seconds and you press the shutter button, sometimes it introduces a very minor shake to the camera, but at 13 seconds, it's not going to be that significant. However, if you do want to remove that, you can leverage the built-in timer on the camera. Now on the Nikon, I'm going to move my thumb down here. It's on the outside, there's a button down here. And again, if you're using Canon or Sony, you'll have something similar to set up an internal timer for the camera. I'm going to go ahead and do that now. I'm just going to push the button, and this is my release mode. And you'll see on the far right-hand side, if you have this Nikon or something similar to it, it tells me, again, it might be difficult to see, but it's set to 5 seconds. Now I can go into the menu and I can make that 2 seconds if I want, but I'm not gonna mess with that as I'm sitting on top of this bridge. So I'm gonna select the 5 seconds, and we are all set at this point. Now, I wanna talk for just a minute about this. Now this is the camera's attempt to identify a proper exposure. When the little meter goes far left, that means it's underexposed. That means the resulting image is going to be dark. If it's to the right, it's overexposed. Now you'll see this is bouncing around. You'll see it's going left and it's going right. You're saying, Mark, what's going on? It's because the traffic is coming at us and going away from us, and the sensor's trying to detect what's going on. But I can tell you at 13 seconds with f11, we're gonna be in pretty good shape. Now, if you see that a majority of the time it's too dark, open up your aperture. So I can open it on this camera. I can do that real quick if I so choose. There's f10, f9, 8, 7, 6, 3, and you'll see now the image looks like it's kind of underexposed, but as lights come at us, it'll be overexposed. So just feel free to play with that aperture a little bit. You know, this is a game where you get to have some creativity between your aperture and your shutter speed. But just know the shutter speed is what we're really going after with trailing lights. So let this be your primary factor. Again, I'm shooting for 13 seconds because I want to capture these lights. I think it's going to make for a really cool shot. Let's go ahead and take it and let's see what we get. Okay, I really like this image. You know, I like the way this came out, and you can see that we still have a little bit of daylight. You know, you'll pick it up there with the sun just going down, and you'll see the lights of the cars coming at us and those lights from cars going away from us. I just really love these shots. I made it back after taking that shot of the trailing lights, and I had a lot of fun doing it. It was kind of like riding a bike for me. It's not a shot I've taken recently, but it all came back to me. And I hope you got something from this video. The thing to really remember is, again, regardless of the camera that you have, just know any DSLR most likely will have manual mode on it. Don't be afraid to get into it. Don't be afraid to modify the settings and see what you can get from your camera. Now let me know in the comments below if you'd like to see more videos like this. In addition, I'm thinking about seeing what kind of third-party software is out there for various cell phones. Now, I have an iPhone 14 Pro, and I also have an XS, and I have an 8, and I think a 6S in a drawer, along with a couple of Android devices. So, you know, maybe we'll load up a cell phone. We'll see what some third-party software can do for us as far as being creative and doing things like capturing trailing lights as well. The thing is, more people have cell phones than they do DSLRs now. And cell phones have come a long way with technology and computational photography, so they can do a lot. If you're interested in seeing some videos like that, post that comment below as well, and maybe we'll get into it. Now, I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, be sure to give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't done so, subscribe to the channel. It's called Real World. More often than not, I post videos about photography and technology, but you never know. So until the next video, take care of yourself and be safe.